Okay, so I think let's start with the session for today. So as you must be knowing, all of you, the topic is a little different than project management. We are talking about life is a project. So it's a little bit of motivational thing and all that we'll be including. And most of you probably have attended the project management workshops, sessions, aware of what is project management and all. So it will be, you should be able to correlate what I'm going to talk about in the next 1 hour. Okay, so and those I'll try to keep it as simple. So those who have not attended the session also probably, if you have been working in that field and all, you should be able to correlate. If you have any queries in this session, at the end we will have a Q&A round. So if you have any questions, if you can hold off till the end, please hold off. But in case if you need to ask anything in between the session, there is an option here in the tool to raise the hand. So every 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, I'll be checking if anybody has a query, and I'll if there is any hand raised, we'll let you ask the question. But we'll have a dedicated Q&A round at the end. So if you can hold off till the end, nothing better. Okay, so that's how we will be proceeding. By default, you all will be in mute so that anybody's background noise doesn't disturb the entire session. So that way, and if you, I'll be unmuting you, and you yourself has to also unmute yourself. Then we will be able to discuss it out. Everybody will be able to listen you. So that's how we'll be doing it. So going forward, let's start with the session now. So for those who don't know about me, my name is Arvind Nahata, working with ProThoughts Solutions for a couple of years now as director and partner. You can see my qualifications and the work experience. So I have around 17 plus years of experience, mentored around 1,000 plus working professionals, conducted 80 plus PMP workshops specifically, and 30 plus customized workshops in project management. Then have a good number of LinkedIn followers. Then before joining ProThoughts, I worked with few of the big MNC names. So Accenture, CSC, Vertex. Was in US for around a decade before shifting back to India in 2011. Okay, so that's about me in short. Moving on, just 2 slides about ProThoughts. So those who have attended the workshops with ProThoughts probably know this. So we are into a lot of project management activities, including training, consulting, software implementations. So you can see the vision, our motto, all these things you can see on the screen. And we were among the top 100 institutes, startup institutes to look out for by the Times Review magazine in 2015. So that is one of the credentials that we started with. Okay, and these are the 3 areas where we are into. We are actually expanded more into other areas, but we are not able to update the slides here on that. But right now, the major 3 areas is training, software implementation, and consulting and advisory services. So these are the 3 things. And software means it's purely project management softwares. Okay, so that was about me and the ProThoughts. Now we are getting into the topic. So the topic for today is life is a project. Now, how are we? It's a little bit different than the standard way of looking at things. So first of all, I want to ask, like, what is the key to life? If you know the key to life, that is what is you need to get the achievements in your life. So if you want to achieve something in your life, you need to know what is the key for your life. So how you need to handle things in your life. Everything will be driven by this, if you know that. So this is something that I came across. The reason why I got into management is one of the experiences was that when I did my PMP training and tried to apply those concepts after getting certified into the practical world, I realized that project management principles which they teach in PMP or CAPM or any of the project management certifications, the way you handle projects, the exactly same thing can be applied to life with some twists. Obviously, some customization needs to happen that you do even in projects. From project to project also, you don't apply the principles as it is. So the same applies to life. Okay, so if I have to say what is a key to life, one of the answers that I need to tell you is the key to life, what I feel, is project management. So if you are able to manage a project, With the same principles, you should be able to very effectively manage your life. With the same principles, with the same approach and everything. Most of us don't view life as it is. We just let it go as it is. That becomes a very big problem. So if you are able to effectively manage, you will be able to achieve what you are really wanting to achieve or you should be achieving in your life. So most of us, let me come to that in the next slide. So right now, we'll come back to this one about key to life, why project management is a key to life. You will understand this after we complete this 1 hour of the session. So moving on to the next slide now. Most of you have the paper and a pen available with you, right? So now let's talk about the first activity here. So I'll give you some pointers. So most of you, when you start thinking about what you want to achieve in your life, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? Probably first, so basically, if you want to look at it in another way, where do you see yourself at the age of 60 or 65 or 70 years of age? So if you are 35 right now, so after 25 years, after 30 years, at the verge of retirement, what you want to achieve. So if you look back in your life, where you should be. So that is something you need to target first, and accordingly you need to plan everything. There will be milestones, there will be a lot of smaller objectives that you need to achieve that bigger objective. A lot of things needs to be planned that way. There will be short-term goals, long-term goals. We'll talk about all those things. But first, if you know that at the age of 60, what do you want to achieve? Now, most of you, or most of us, including myself, when I couldn't think this way. If somebody would have asked me, my standard answer would have been having a good family. Basically, most of us, we work, our target is to have a good financial freedom, to support the family, have a good family life, and this is all we try to achieve in our life. So if you have a good family life, a good family with kids and everybody, we feel that we achieved a lot. That is not what you are supposed to set an objective for your life. That is something, if that's the objective, then all of us will have the same objective. That is something anyways we should be doing. We all are good, we should be good at multitasking. So that is one of the objectives, obviously, but that cannot be the primary objective. So that means, so there has to be one other objective against which you should be working, you should be visualizing things and focusing and putting the effort to achieve something beyond the family life or beyond. There are a lot of things that I'll be giving the pointers now. And then I'll ask you to think about and set a goal for yourself. So let me give you the pointers. First, many of us try to get a financial freedom, right? So that is one thing that most of us look for. So that could be one goal that you might be thinking for. Next could be, many people don't look for money, but it's all about the popularity, recognition, and fame. That could be another target that you might be setting for yourself, that by the time of 60, people should be knowing about you across the nation, across the state, across the city. So recognition might be more important to you. Power could be one thing, that you need to be really a powerful entity. When somebody talks about you, they know that you know how to get the work done. So if that is what you want to achieve. Then there could be corporate growth. So if you are a salaried individual, you might be looking at, okay, I want to be a vice president at the age of 60, or president or CEO of a company, so there could be some vision that you are looking at. Everything will be focused from that perspective going forward. Then if you're not in a salaried role, then if you have your own business, then probably you are looking at a self-sustaining or a business which is become successful at the end. So you are giving a legacy down to your next generation. So that could be one of the targets that you are looking at if you are in a business background. Then there could be a successful family setup. That could be one of the objectives. We already discussed that earlier. Then at times, if you talk to several saints and all those type of people, religious freedom, they want a lot of religious achievements, moksha, nirvana, those type of things that they are looking at as a final achievement down the lane in their life. So that could be one. And then there is something which is a little uncommon, like might be you have a passion towards photography or trekking, and you want to grow in that arena, and you want to achieve something out of your life, or you have a passion for painting, so you want to create a lot of paintings which have a lot of value. So that's more like a value addition to the society. Or you want to do some social service, like if you talk about a lot of social service guys, they have a lot of achievements which is nothing to do with either financial freedom or family or business growth. So they want to do something for the society. So those type of achievements, if you have, that's also different. So these are few of the pointers. There could be many more that you can think of. So now what I want you to do, you have a paper and a pen handy. So these are just the pointers. So don't only limit yourself to just a good family or something. So if I tell you, like, let me give you another way of looking at it. So if I tell you that if if you do what you want to do and what you like to do, and all your actions are towards that goal, then every first of the month, 1.5 lakh rupees will get deposited in your account. But only if you are working towards your goal that you want to achieve. If you do something other than that, it will not get deposited. So in that case, what will be your goal and how will you be working towards it? So just think about it. I'll take a pause of 3 minutes. Think about it and try to put down. There could be multiple objectives. It's not like you only have one goal or one objective in your life. So think about more than one if possible. And if you have a dedicated one big objective as such, might be that's also okay. So just try to get that one objective, note it down, one or more than one objective, note it down. So I'll just take a pause for 3 minutes here. We're almost over with time for the activity. So I hope everybody has noted down, thought about it, what they want. And this is just a 3 minute activity here in this 1 hour session. Going forward, like after the session, you might give it a bigger thought. You might think for 15, 20 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour, because this will play a big role in your defining your career going forward. So what I will suggest, if anybody is still writing the objective, please raise the hand, or else we'll continue. Okay, I don't see any hands raised. So I assume everybody have written down the objectives. You can always define it anytime later, but at least you gave it a thought in these 2-3 minutes that what are you doing right now, and beyond that, what you want to achieve something extra. Now, when we talk about that, achieving that something extra, you don't have to give the full 24 hours for that, right? So you still will be maintaining your family, working with as a salaried job, and everything you will be doing, or doing the business, whatever you are doing. It's just that for that one particular goal that you are looking at, that you want to achieve, probably 1 hour a day, or maybe 7 hours a week maximum that you need to spend. With that, it will make a big difference. Probably in 3 months time, 6 months time, you will find that difference showing up. That will keep you motivated to work towards that. So that is something you need to put that extra effort of around 1 hour on an average every day to achieve that extra goal that you are setting for yourself. And in the long run, like, we have a early advantage in, if you understand finance, if you have a financial background or anything, there is something called uh, power of compounding. Power of compounding, or early beginners always get a bigger advantage at the end. So early you start working towards that goal, bigger the benefit you will reap at the end. So if you say, for example, if you are 25 and you start this and working towards this, then the benefit that you get at the age of 55 versus if you're starting at 35, the big benefit that you get will be different. So if you are at 25 and you are starting, you will get much more benefit than what you are starting at 35, right? At 45, you will even get lesser, but still you will get something, and you are working towards that goal, and you will see results coming up. So that will keep the momentum going. And again, in project management, we talk about change requests, a lot of things. So those here will be here. You're working towards the goal, you don't see the results, so you might have to change the approach. So you might have to do a lot of things when you are, we'll do a planning, we'll talk about a lot of things. But right now, what you just did is you just set up an objective for your life. One primary objective, and then there are multiple secondary objectives. So you want to work towards all these objectives. So you are already working on many of them, but now you are adding that extra objective which not everybody is focusing upon. Like, I'm pretty sure, I'm assuming that most of you, the objective so far till today was focusing on the job, or focusing like making money, saving money, using the money to run the family. These are the standard things that you are probably were doing, that you will continue to do. But now, from going forward after this session, probably you will start thinking on what more beyond this. You always can afford at least 1 hour on an average every day to achieve something more. So that 1 hour, earlier you start, more you get the benefit at the end. Okay, that's the power of compounding. It's exponential growth at the end. So that was our activity 1. So we'll do one more activity at the little later. So keep this paper handy. Don't let it go right now. So now you have set up an objective. So this is the life charter which we are talking about. In project, we normally call a project charter, which we say what you want to achieve out of this project. Here we are saying what you want to achieve out of the life. So there is a life charter that you are creating, where you are setting the goals for yourself. Now you can, if you want to do a detailed analysis, you can create short-term goals, long-term goals, high-level analysis, a lot of things you can do when you're talking about these objectives to be achieved. Just think about the project charter, and the exactly same thing can be applicable here. Okay, so this is a life charter that we have initiated. You can complete it after this session. So that was one. Now moving on to the next thing. When we say life is a project, what is a project, and how life can be also synced up just like a project. So most of you, probably I see the names, most of you have attended the sessions of project management. So you must be able to correlate. Now let me start from scratch. Project has a beginning and an end. Life has a beginning and an end. Project has a unique objective to achieve. We just did that for life. With life also, you need to have a unique objective to achieve. Then in project, there are a lot of uncertainties that might come through. In life, again, life, we say life is like a music with a lot of ups and downs, side bass, a lot of things are there in that. So life also will show you a lot of ups and downs. Bigger the duration of the life it's left for you, more uncertainty, right? And more important, the planning becomes. So there could be one question: if there is everything uncertain, then why do plan? Then there is no point of planning, right? The same thing if you talk about in project, it's the same answer I'll be giving you. So For uncertainty, if you plan right now, what you are going to do is, one, you will be able to remove a lot of uncertainties right away. And second, even if you are not able to remove the uncertainties, you actually have a plan on how to face it. Tomorrow, when that uncertainty happens, you exactly have the courage to face that problem in your life. You know exactly what to do, what not to do. You have thought about it earlier. You saw that coming. So that's how you will be able to control a lot of things in your life very effectively. You will be in a very good control of your life. You will not make mistakes in the life. I'm not saying even after that you might make mistakes, but chances will reduce substantially. At least the bigger mistakes you can avoid for sure. Okay, so that is something. If you look at all these pointers, project and life, they match a lot. That's why the topic for was life is a project, and how do you want to handle it. So now we talk about the phases in a project. The phases in the project are the five processes, the five process groups we call them as. So there are five phases. You initiate a project, you plan, you execute, monitor, control, and you close. Exactly same five phases apply to life. With the life charter, what you are doing is you are initiating the project now, the life project, life charter. And after that, you will do a detailed planning. You will create small short-term goals, long-term goals, the milestones, major achievements which you want to achieve to for that bigger objective which you want to eventually achieve at the age of 60. So all those things you will be planning. All the problems that you can foresee, those are nothing but risk management. So all the problems that you can foresee coming, who are the resources, stakeholders, family, friends, how are you going to involve them in this, whether you are going to tell them or not tell them. A lot of things you will be, whom to tell, whom not to tell, what, all those things you will be planning. So the planning will be in very detail if you really want to do that right now. It does not take too much time, but you will be spending probably 1 or 2 days, but then it can be very effective going forward in your life. And then it's all about executing, spending that 1 hour every day towards the plan. And things might go wrong. So execute, monitor, and control, they go hand in hand. So things might not work. So even after the plan, at times the most effective projects, most of the project manager says, what plan never happens as per the plan. You have to create a plan and throw it out of the window, and you need to execute it as and when the things happen. It's true. So things never happen, but at least you know how to face them now. And at least few things you will be able to eliminate. The bigger problems, if you are able to eliminate, that's a big value addition to your life. That's a big achievement in your life. So executing, monitoring, control is what you are spending. Even in project management, they say 50% of your time and effort, more than 50 actually, 55 to 60% of your time you do spend in these two phases. So the same happens here. Here probably it's more than 60 also that you spend in executing and controlling when we're talking about life. Spending that 1.5 hours, 2 hours every day, or 7 hours a week every week. That's what you are to do in execution, and revising the plan if needed based on how you see things happening. And a lot of factors might influence things, so you might have to consider all those and change the plan also on the fly. Okay, so you yourself are the approver here. You might take some senior guidance counselors, senior members. You need to plan. They are the stakeholders in your in this project for you. There are many stakeholders like that. So you need to identify them, how do you want to use them, and everything. Okay, so that will be the four. And closer will be, if we talk about closer is all about when you are reaching the age of 60, 65, the time when you want to achieve, by the time when you want to achieve that objective, at that point you need to look back, see what you did go, what are the actions you did, what were the results of that, whether it gave the desired output or not, and all those things. If you see the big short people who write a lot of autobiographies, they never write those autobiographies at the age of 25 or 30. Their autobiographies are all written at 55, 60 years of age, right? So this autobiography is nothing but the closing phase of their project, when they are sharing all the experiences. That's the legacy that they are leaving behind for the next generation, telling them this is what we learned, this is what we did, this is what happened, and these were my mistakes, these were the good things. All these were there in the autobiography. So that same thing you will be doing in the closing phase, so that people remember you after you go out. that will be one of the closing, documenting things and looking back, making sure things are happened, and based on that, document everything at the end, so that if you have planned everything, executed as per the plan, you will have a lot of things to talk about and write about in the book, but only if you have thought about it. So that's why autobiographies are supposed to do the same thing. Okay, so that's the project phases in the life of a project, life as a project. But practically now, when we say phases of a life, we normally talk about these three phases. Till 20 to 25 years, you study as a student, then you stand up on your own legs, become capable, work till the age of 55 to 60, and then retire. This is what people look at the phases. Now, if you look at only the middle one, the word 25 to 55, so one of the very capable and successful CEOs, Alibaba's CEO, Jack Ma. So if you see one of his interviews, he has given a very nice correlation between how to utilize these 30 years of your work time. Okay, so what he says is that you need to break up this 30 years into three phases. Again, this 30 years of work itself should be broken up into three phases. 25 to 35, if you are in that work group, in that age group, you don't worry about making mistakes. Make mistakes. More the mistakes you make, more you are learning, which you will be utilizing in the next 20, 30 years. So don't worry about making mistakes. If you're falling down, stand up and again walk. Again falling down, again stand up. More you fall, more you learn, more you become experienced. So 25 and 35, that's the age group when you can experiment, you can try new things, you can do a lot of mistakes. Shouldn't matter. After 35 till 45, that's the phase when you have learned a lot. Now people look at you that now you should be driving things successfully. You become the mentors for those 25 to 35. In you need to pick up a mentor who is in a higher age group, who should be helping you and things done. And after 45, you should not be doing things. You should be able to get the things done from the others. 45 onwards or 50 onwards. See, don't go by the exact age. Plus minus 2, 3, 4, 5 years is okay. So if I'm saying I've taken a retirement age as 55 here, because if you are doing everything effectively, you should be able to retire by 55. If you talk about 20 years back, the retirement age was 65. Our lifespan has reduced from 100 years to 60, 70, 80 years. So the retirement age also reduced from 65 to 60. Now it's 59 and a half, you can retire. Gradually it's reducing. Probably one time will come when at 55 could become a retirement age. So I'm just taking a random number. You can add you might plan to retire at 58 rather than 55 or 57. You 57 years. You should be looking at getting the work done from the folks who are between 25 to 35 and 35 to 45. So that should be your focus area. So you should not be doing work yourself. It's more of a managerial role now, right? So that's something that applies to the life also. So to achieve your objective, you should get the work done from your kids, from a lot of people, from family members. You should know how to get the things done. Okay. So, and then the retirement, as I said, is all about writing the autobiographies and all. It's a closer phase of the project. So if you look at the slide, the picture below, so success. So you start, think and analyze. Think is what you just thought, gave a 2-minute thought. Now you need to expand it to after the workshop, after the session, you might have to give it a bigger thought and create specific objectives for your life. Analyze means, are those objectives correct for you? Are they practically feasible? You can set up 15 objectives for you, but are they feasible to achieve those? That before you plan. Okay, that's a feasibility check. Then you plan, and then the execute and controlling part happens, where you keep on doing and redoing and redoing before you achieve the success and objective. So this is the life that you should be planning for. This is how the life should be planned. Okay. And most of us, at the end of our life, we just crib a lot and everything, but just because we didn't thought about this way. We just let the things happen as it is going. We just didn't take charge of our lives. We just said, we didn't set up that objective and didn't put that 1 hour extra every day. 1 hour average every day. So if you can't put 1 hour today, or you can't put 5 hours in the 5-day working days, probably put all the 7 hours together over a weekend, one dedicated weekend day. That's all to achieve. For 6 days you are working for your regular work and 1 day for your objective in a week. So you need to decide how you want to achieve that. Okay, and we already talked about this. And as we discussed, execution never has really accepts that life things will not go the way you want it to go, and that's where your planning will come handy. You know how to face those problems. You have planned for those. That's why the planning is so important. Okay. And one more thing, when you are working towards your life objectives, you have to have a confidence that you will be achieving that goal. Unless you don't have that self-confidence, believe me, whatever you're doing half-heartedly, it's not going to yield maximum results. So you need to be confident, and at times you need to be ignorant. You have to close eyes and ignore few things in your life because it's working towards the bigger objective. So at times you need to ignore things also in your life. So where you want to ignore things, which places you will not interfere, you will have to figure out all that is a part of your plan. So ignorance also has to be considered as a part of your life plan. Okay, you cannot do micromanagement. If somebody is working with you, if they make mistakes, you cannot complain to them. You need to accommodate them at times. A lot of things needs to be considered. Okay, now let's talk about the second activity. So all of you must have written that first objective, the first activity. The objective was defined, what you want to achieve. Now just another 3 to 4 minutes let's spend. Just think about how will you achieve it. Now this is the planning phase. So just think about that. What will you do? How will you do? How frequently will you do? Who will you be involving? Any support structure available? Families will be helping. If in family, who are the family members whom you will be sharing this? Confidentiality, all those things, just plan it up. Any problems that you see, if there are financial problems, mention that. So there has to be a solution for that. So let's spend another 3 to 4 minutes and think about the planning. Okay, how will you be achieving this objective? And focus on two things. Let me give you some pointers here also, then you can start the activities. First pointer will be, when you're planning, create two type of goals: short-term goals and long-term goals. Short-term goals, there could be 5 goals which eventually add up to achieve your life objectives. So short-term goals are nothing more but smaller objectives. So these objectives add up to get your bigger objectives. Okay, and then there could be long-term goals also. Then it has to be stepwise. So there could be milestones that you need to achieve, that okay, by this age I need to be here, by this age I need to be here. So those will be the milestones. So age wise you can define. If you are 35, keep a 5-year horizon. By 40, this is what I have to achieve. By 45, by 50, by 55, by 60, I need to achieve these things. Those could be your milestones. Then how much time you will be giving every year, what are the activities you will do, a lot of the budgeting. So here you might be spending something from your savings, something you will be so a lot of things about time and cost, schedule and budget that you might have to consider in your life plan. Okay, then we talked about the uncertainties in your life. If you can foresee, think about any problems. At times the family resistance itself could be a problem, that could be a risk. So all those things you need to consider as a part of the risk plan. Okay, and how will you overcome that? Then what are the resources you have, both human and non-human resources that you have, which you will be using to achieve your objective. Think about that. Okay, whom you will be communicating, telling them, updating them, taking the guidance, all those things. Any career counselor that you need, who will be telling you something, who looks at you that okay, you are doing things correctly or not. So all those communication plans needs to be there. And who are the people involved? How are you going to utilize them? Your friends, your families, if you're working, your colleagues, if you're in business, then the staff in your business. It can be anybody. Okay, and if you're hiring some consultants, then that's also a stakeholder. So you need to think about all those. Okay, so now let's do this activity, and just you spend 3 minutes to 4 minutes to just think about how are you going to achieve that. Just create a high level plan. You can work on it later, but at least 2 to 3 minutes, give it a thought. So 1 more minute. So just work on the plan. So, so you can continue working on this plan later. So in the interest of time, let's continue further. So what we did, the two activities that we did so far, one is there are a few candidates I see that who dialed in later. So just I'm briefing them. It's a brief for everybody. So we did two activities. This is the second one. The first activity was you need to set up a life objective, what you want to achieve from your life beyond the standard things that you do, like supporting the family, earning money, salaried job or doing business, those obviously everybody does. Beyond that, one extra goal in your life that you want to achieve, and for that you need to plan that how are you going to achieve it. How are you going to achieve it? Might be spending 1 hour every day or 7 hours a week, and that way you need to, and then what will you do in those 1 hour or every day or 7 hours a week? How will you utilize that time to work towards that achievement objective, life objective? Okay, it's not like that you need to give 10-12 hours a day for that extra objective. Just 1 hour more than enough. In the long run, 20, 25, 30 years, that 1 hour also will make a big difference. So it will show up even in 3 to 6 months if you are effective in utilizing that time in a proper planned way. So focus on this and then create a detailed plan if possible after the this session. Spend some time and you will be able to find out a lot more that you need to achieve in your life. That's a different way of looking at your life. It has to be meaningful. Okay, everybody have your, each of us have our own strengths, own weaknesses. You know that better than anybody else. So you should be knowing what are your strengths and how to utilize those strengths to achieve that extra milestone, extra objective. Not milestone, that was my misstatement. Extra objective that you want to achieve. So that is something you need to focus upon. And you know better than anybody else. Or take the counseling. Probably best counselors will be probably your parents or somebody senior who knows you very well in your family. Somebody very close friends of you who can tell you these are your strengths, I can see you. Somebody outsiders can suggest you much better. So based on that, you can create your objectives, that what you should be achieving out of it. Okay, so create this plan, create objective, create a detailed plan, and then work towards it. Execution is very important. Just thinking about it will not give you results. Okay, so moving ahead, then comes the closer, which we discussed. So in this phase, what you do is, one, you review what you did in your life. Okay, at the age of 55, 56, 57, 58, you start looking back. Okay, at time you might start looking back at the age of 50 itself, saying, okay, what I did in the last 5, 7, 10 years, whether they were as per the plan, whether it gave a desired results. If not, what went wrong, what went right. Create an autobiography, write down, document it, and that will be the legacy for the next generation. So, okay, so that will be your closer. So that was about the session. Now there are few tips from successful people who have actually set their objectives and worked towards their goals and became successful. Okay, one, you should learn from other people's mistakes. That's a very smart thing to do. Everybody tells that don't worry about making mistakes, make mistakes because you are learning out of it. What I will suggest, if you are able to learn from other mistakes, probably you will only have to learn from your mistakes 2 out of 10 times. Otherwise 10 times you will make the same mistake. Here 8 times you can avoid it by learning from others' mistakes. If somebody else has failed in something, make sure you figure out why he failed and you are not following the same thing. Okay, don't make a mistake if you are able to understand the problem from others. Second, think positive, be optimistic. Don't fear the failures. At least if you are in the age group of 25 to 35, for sure you should not worry about failures. Failing, I don't know if you are aware, but in the Western countries, if you are going for the top MNCs, top posts for the big companies, they will not hire you unless you have not failed at least once in your life. They want failed people to take up the top posts. Why? Because you will understand the value of success. You will be able to retain it for a longer time. That success, you know why it is so important for you, because you have failed and you know that why it is so tough to get it right. So that's why failing is not in India. If you fail, most of the, it's not a general statement, but what I've seen here, that's my personal experience. In Indian context, if you fail once, people put a stamp that you are a big failure. Should not be happening that way. If somebody fails once in early phases of his life, that's a big asset for him. Most of the big names, if you look at it, they have failed. I don't have to give you, just search on the Google, you will find everybody. If you go into the Bollywood, Amitabh Bachchan failed. If you go into the business Kentucky Fried Chicken, he actually created the KFC at the age of 60 plus. Rejected multiple times. So everybody have failed. Few people have failed in the colleges. Einstein was, so you can think about it. I don't have to give you the names. Every big name. So you don't have to fail that big. I'm not talking about you need to be a Einstein or Amitabh Bachchan or anybody like that, but failures are okay. Okay, so don't worry about failures. Next, look at every challenge as an opportunity. And bigger the challenge, bigger the opportunity. Most of the big organizations have come up because they were able to tap this big problem and convert it into an opportunity. Whether you talk about Reliance, Dhirubhai Ambani, he's figured out a problem and he worked towards that problem. That's why the Reliance group is there. If you look at Google, if you look at Facebook, they always found a problem and worked towards that problem and converted that problem into that opportunity. So every problem is an opportunity. You need to take it in a positive way. Don't crib about it. Think about it, how to utilize it to your benefit. That's what the successful people do. This is one of my favorites. The next one, fourth one. Don't try to be the best, because if you try to be the best, you will certainly fail. Why? Because probably for best, 1 in 1 lakh, and probably it's very tough to be that 1 in 1 lakh. So you try to be doing something which nobody else has done ever. Then you don't have to be the best. Even if you are average, still you will be successful. Why? Because nobody else does that. So try to be the first, not the best. This is a very good point that I like a lot. The next point, if your goal is to serve others in whichever way, then there is a very big chance that you will be successful. Serving others end up being successful eventually. You cannot fail if you're serving others. Then best out of you always comes out in difficult times. If everything is happening as per your expectations, you will never put your 100%, right? So, and then start as early as you can. We already talked about that, right? At the age of 25, if you do, it's a power of compounding. More the benefits you will reap at the later stage. It applies to financial calculations. The same applies to life also. It applies to everywhere. Early you start, more you gain. And you have to have a self-confidence, believe in yourself. Unless that is not there, you will not put 100%. Okay, and then surround yourself with good people. That is very good saying, because others view you based on in which circle you stay. So that's a big point. So your surroundings should be good. Okay, always keep that in mind. And then the last thing, which is the most important thing, is healthy life. If you're not healthy, you will not be able to even spend that 1 hour. You will not be able to do that planning. So health is wealth. That is something that you have to make sure. Take out time, at least half an hour, 1 hour every day. That could be your objective also, a side objective. Cannot be your primary objective, but that could be one objective, that by this time you will not have this. If you are going through blood sugar, you want to get away from the blood sugar by achieving something. That could be your one short-term objective in the next 5 years. So you have to have a healthy life. Okay. So these are the few tips from successful people. While setting up your goals, you need to keep these in mind. Okay. Now, so that was from my side. If you have any queries, you can reach us out. Most of you who are already connected with me, you can connect with me directly. Else, these are the ProThoughts Pune office numbers. You can reach us out, okay, via email, phone calls, or you can raise the inquiry on our website if you want to. We'll be more than happy to help you, guide you, counsel you if you need. Okay.